What was my life really like as an expat or an immigrant in my first year here in Germany? That is something I've never actually really spoken about in depth, and I'm ready to share my story with you now. And people say a lot of things about the first years or first experiences you're gonna have in Germany, whether good or absolutely terrible and stereotypical German. You guys have watched enough of these culture shock videos to know that Germany definitely has its ups and downs. Some people have it easier than others, and a lot of us tend to go through hell and back to actually figure out our lives here in Germany and settle down. For me, it wasn't black or white. I fell somewhere into a gray zone. I never actually thought I was going to be permanently living here in Germany for the rest of my life. So let's rewind and I will give you a little bit of a background. I was 22 years old when I actually made the move over here to Germany. And I don't think I'd even necessarily call it a move, because when I moved here, it was for my boyfriend at the time. I had actually met him in South Africa back when I was 20 years old. We did long distance relationship for 2 years, and then at 22, I decided to come and spend some time with him temporarily, explore Germany, see what it was like. It was more of a let's test our relationship and see where it goes after a year. So I didn't really move to Germany with any intention of staying, nor was I ever prepared in the German language or actually being able to do any of the documentation or paperwork that it takes when getting started. Our plan was actually to either spend the year in Germany just so I could take a look and get to know his culture, and then we were gonna move back to Canada and get him a job there. Well, it actually was not easy to get him a job in Canada as a dentist, so we realized the best possible situation was if we moved to England. So I could actually speak German and get a job there on a visa. And he, since back then England was part of the European Union, was also able to work as a dentist. It was like the perfect plan for us. And so naturally, my first year in Germany was an absolute dream until it wasn't. And I will get back to that point in a few minutes. But when I first moved to Germany, I actually came and I moved to the beautiful region of Baden-Wurttemberg in the city of Freiburg. Now, for those of you Germans watching this video, or those of you who know Germany very well, you'll also know that Freiburg is this enchanting, beautiful little city in the heart of the Black Forest with cobblestone roads and pretty much everything you would want as a tourist visiting Germany. I spent my days touring around the beautiful city streets by Vespa, drinking beer in public for the first time in my life, having bonfires in the middle of the Black Forest, taking train trips to little tiny German villages on the weekends, climbing castle towers, and hiking through the woods. I was living it up as a year-long tourist in Germany, and I was thoroughly enjoying it. I actually arrived on a 3-month tourist visa, and then I got that extended as an au pair visa. I didn't actually end up au pairing, but that's another story for another day. And then I extended it to another visa, which was the freelance visa, so that I could teach English and continue running my travel blog. So basically when I got started, I just walked into a Lidl, I grabbed a €5 phone plan, I moved into my husband's flat in Freiburg, which was actually a Wohngemeinschaft or a WG. So I moved in with him and his roommate. They were both going to university there at the time. And so not only did I have to not worry about connecting like electricity or paying for gas or getting the bills for the Rundfunkbeitrag, which is the public broadcasting fee here in Germany, but my husband actually didn't have to do much of this stuff either. Because it was a WG, one of the other students was actually the one managing it for the students in the apartment, so we just had to pay them a lump sum of money each month without having to worry. So needless to say, when it was time to become real adults, my boyfriend and I, things got a little bit tough. So a lot of you have actually asked why Düsseldorf, and I don't think I've ever actually publicly, properly answered that question for you before. And many of you also wondered, well, why did you live in Freiburg and what brought you north to Düsseldorf? Well, Freiburg was a choice because that's where my husband was studying at the time, and Düsseldorf was a choice that we didn't really necessarily make on our own. Shortly before my first dream year in Germany came to an end, my boyfriend's father actually fell really ill and only had a few months to live. we made the decision to move up here to spend more time with the family, and he ended up passing away within a few weeks. So our plan of staying there for a few months to spend time with the family quickly turned into 9 months of living with his mom, just to be there for her and for my boyfriend to really just be with his family when they all needed it the most. So for me, Düsseldorf was really never a #1 choice for me. I never really found it a particularly enchanting city as I did with Freiburg, for example, but it's really hard to compare the two because they are just two entirely different places that people fall in love with for entirely different reasons. And Freiburg at the time just seemed like the perfect place for someone like me who enjoyed nature and being in outdoors. I think I'm burning my face, so I am just going to close the blinds for a second. So a few months in Düsseldorf ended up turning into 9 months of living with his family, and my boyfriend eventually found a really great job. And we basically came to the conclusion that Düsseldorf was now home. We were now happy with the decision. I finally discovered that this cold, dark, gray city, we moved in the middle of winter, was actually a really nice place to live. And it wasn't all about art and fashion, but there were really cool flea markets here and nice spaces in NRW to go hiking. But it was that first year in Düsseldorf that I then realized how lucky I was to be able to actually have that opportunity to experience living in Germany in my first year as a tourist rather than as an expat or as an immigrant. That's because I was naively wandering the streets, enjoying life as we know it, rather than actually sitting down and saying, okay, I need a permanent visa, I need to connect to electricity, I need to get my residence permit, I need to have a stable job here, I need to start paying taxes. You know, none of this stuff was a worry at the beginning for me, and now I realize how unbelievably lucky I was because of that. On the contrary, when you see how naive I was in that first year, it hit me like a ton of bricks when it was time to actually move into our own flat and learn everything from scratch. Not only was this my first time really adulting, but it was also my boyfriend's first time, and neither one of us knew what to do first when it came to actually being an adult here in Germany. Needless to say, it took a lot of trial and error, guys. That is exactly why I have this channel now. It's exactly why I started the Life in Düsseldorf blog, and that is simply because it was such a challenge for me. I really did not love living in Düsseldorf in my first year, and I am living proof to show you guys that sometimes it just takes really giving it a chance and just buckling down, getting the help you need, getting through the process of actually registering and setting yourself up for success here in Germany to actually be able to enjoy life here. Germany is an amazing country to live. If you need the help, I suggest you take the help. A lot of employers actually offer really great relocation packages. You can find tons of amazing vloggers nowadays vlogging about their life in Germany. And you've probably heard me talk about it before, but I also have a free downloadable checklist that goes through step by step exactly what you need when getting started here in Germany. And if I've convinced you to actually want to move to Baden-Wurttemberg, well, you might be really excited to know that not only is it a beautiful state to visit, to live in, but it's also very attractive for highly skilled expats now. They are hiring like crazy. They have a gap in the job market right now, and there are a number of great opportunities for you. Actually, so much so that the Baden-Württemberg state is promoting these new and amazing opportunities for our highly skilled expats. They've even just launched a new comical web series called The Lend, and it is specifically aimed to promote the state of Baden-Württemberg, not just as a beautiful place to visit, but also as strong world market leaders, innovative hidden champions, and a place for very promising startups. They are also home to over 11 million people and over 180 nationalities now. So the state of Baden-Württemberg decided that it was time for a new catchy name for the state so that these internationals didn't always have to say, we're moving to Baden-Württemberg, which is not the easiest thing to say as a foreigner. And thus, they came up with the perfect, short, catchy little name for this hilarious web series that is actually launched today. You can go check it out. I will include the link down below for you. They take you on a journey through the beautiful region and introduce you to some of the coolest, innovative companies and share their success stories along the way. Und wie immer, vielen lieben Dank und bis später.